Hey Seeker, welcome to the Awakening Her podcast. I am so grateful that you've been led here, and I'm excited for you that you're answering the call to manifest more magic in your life by mastering the law of attraction. So cool. My name is Talia, and I'm committed to cutting the fluff and showing you exactly how to manifest more excitement, ease, success, abundance, confidence, love, and anything else you've been craving. So if you're ready to crack the code on manifestation, amplify your intuition, and play in the quantum, we are now besties. Let's do this. Hello, Seeker. Welcome back to the Awakening Her podcast. My name is Talia Joy. How are you doing? You are looking beautiful. I am so excited for this episode. So excited to bring forward this concept that is so important in the awakening journey, which is it's not a problem, it's a spiritual assignment. And so we're going to dive deep into that. But first, if you are new to the show, welcome. Welcome to this corner of the internet. Welcome to support in your awakening journey. My name is Talia, and I'm just that. I'm a bestie in your awakening journey. And on this show, we talk about all things manifestation. We talk about being in alignment with your soul, your soul's plan, your purpose, developing your intuition, and all of the tools in your toolbox that you will need in this awakening journey. And the end result of everything I talk about is the intention of you living a life that your soul intended. And from that place, you are able to manifest with natural magnetism. You're able to achieve all the things while also feeling deeply fulfilled, feeling free, feeling creative, expressive, excited. Instead of trying to just hustle to achieve shit, we're doing it from a soul alignment place, which is so powerful. And that's truly why you're here. So on this show, sometimes in the episodes, I'm geeking out on the process of manifestation. I'm talking about the law of attraction. Other times we're talking about healing, what stands in your way between you and being aligned with your soul. And other times it's activating your purpose or your gifts. We go through all the stuff here with, as I said, that end result of you living a life that you are excited by, one where you feel powerful and naturally confident, and you're making your contribution and you're really living in alignment with your soul and being expressed and everything that you are meant to be. Because if you are an old soul, which you are here for that inner transformation that also gets to result in living an incredibly beautiful, adventurous, exciting, abundant life. So I'm excited you're here. If you are in the community, you've listened to many episodes, welcome back. I'm so glad I haven't weirded you out by now and that you keep coming back to the show. You must really be my people. I'm so excited to connect. And for anyone that hasn't come and found me online on the socials, come find me at Talia Joy Manifestation on Facebook, Instagram, all the things. I'm excited to connect. I'm posting every day, posting stories and stuff and reels and, all the social stuff. So come find me if you love this vibe and this message and you want to learn how to manifest the life that your soul intended. I would be happy to connect with you. So let's dive straight in, okay? I'm hoping that this episode is going to be the S word. Short, but every time I say that, I say I shouldn't say it, and then it ends up being longer, and then I do say it, and it's a horrible pattern we're in. But I am intending to make this episode shorter. I'm in a weird mood. Let's just call it what it is. You guys get the fruitful Talia. Before we dive into this, just a little update. In the last episode, I was getting ready to go to an event, the As She Rises live event. I am now back. It was epic. If you're listening to this in real time, I always do an episode. For 3 years, I've done an episode on Monday. And this might be the first Monday ever that there was no episode. So we're coming in hot on a Tuesday. And we're going to rock your world for the week. So don't worry, there is the episode. But anyways, I've just been traveling. I live on Vancouver Island on the west coast of Canada. I went over to Vancouver on the boat, flew out from Vancouver to Calgary where the conference was held, stayed in an Airbnb. It was quite the experience. Very powerful conference, very inspiring. Casey Villard, who's been on the show a few episodes back talking about Kundalini, she was the host, brought in all of these powerful, gorgeous speakers. It was quite an activating time. And it also reminded me of how important it is for us to connect in real life. Like how important it is to be in the room with other women, other people that feel or that you can identify with. Or, the beautiful part about this conference is it was all women, but there was so many different women that looked different and acted different ethnicities, different styles, like just all the women. It was so beautiful. And everybody was really like celebrating of each other and really allowed to be who they were. And it just really inspired me. That's what we all need, is to be allowed to be who we are, to be seen for who we truly are and celebrated, and not feel like we have to fit into a box or be like anybody else or tone it down or tone it up. And like, it's all good. And, I share this on the show. I am an introvert and an empath. So although I'm super confident, sitting in my, office with a mic in my yoga pants with tea, it's different when I'm in person. I am not shy, but I take in a lot of energy. So there was times in this conference when I'm literally with 100 women going like, don't be the weirdo in the corner. Don't be the weirdo in the corner. And that's me, and that's okay. And so what I did is I bridged the gap. I took space when I need space. And I also went outside my box to connect with people and have beautiful moments and hugs and connections. And the whole thing was so soul filling. And that's what I want for you, not only in my live events coming up in the next, year and everything that I'm creating, but just in your life. I want you to be able to be seen for who you are. And if you are the weirdo in the corner, I'm there with you. And together we can rise. But really to just feel seen and understood and heard, like source, that's all spirit wants for you, is to be you. So it's really time to step deeper into who you are meant to be. I'm sure this is going to come into this episode today, so I won't go too far off, but I just wanted to give you guys that little update. I was away from my family for I guess about 4 or 5 days, which is crazy. It was so nice to come back. My dog was like so excited to see me, and the kids were waiting out on the street. It was so cute. So now I'm back and I feel recharged in my soul and lit up and excited. So I'm excited to do this podcast episode. Let's dive into it. So today we're talking about how it's not a problem, it's a spiritual assignment. And I've really started recognizing, over time, I am honing more and more on my gifts. And for any of you that have businesses, purpose-led businesses, or seeking that, or probably even in any business, work as a mother, as a father, as a human, right? We hone who we are. And I've started to really realize that something I do naturally with my clients, part of my gifts, is seeing if you're in or out of alignment with your soul. Like that to me is so obvious. And it's not just like I meet someone, I'm like, oh, they're so out of alignment. It's more with my clients. It's like where we talk, I can tell that within whatever struggle they bring to me, whether it's more of a relationship thing, a business thing, personal, their gifts, trust, wounds, like whatever we're talking about, I can always tell where their soul is guiding them, the spiritual assignment behind the struggle. And it's just become very obvious. And even with myself, it's second nature to see the spiritual assignment behind the struggle, like immediately. So I'm just going to share one little example that isn't super deep, but while I was gone in this conference, I'll just be quick with this because I don't want to, whatever. In the week leading up, I was having a lot of body pain. So if you're new to the show, that's one of the things that's where my stuff, manifests in my body, is as pain. And so my body was flaring up, and a lot of it was the left side. And I thought that was very interesting. The left side is about the feminine energy and the receiving and all of this. So thought that was interesting. I woke up, I think 2 days before, my left rib had gone out just in my sleep, which doesn't happen as much anymore. And I just knew my body was like preparing for this upgrade, this feminine energy of being in a room with 100 other women and receiving, and just the whole event. It was releasing and powerful and medicine womany. It was awesome. So my body was like preparing for that. And I woke up, I was in a lot of pain, whatever. So I get to the Airbnb the day before the retreat or the event, conference, whatever you want to call it, starts. And I had the free day. So I went up, I got settled in my Airbnb, and I started going down the stairs to go get food. And as I'm clippity-cloppeting down the stairs, like 6 stories of stairs, I rolled my ankle, and I came down on my ankle in like a concrete staircase so hard, and I heard a pop, like so big. And immediately it was like, I could, when you hurt yourself or you cut yourself or something, you're like, shit, that's bad. I can feel it. Immediately, my whole body was like, do not step on it. Oh my God. My thought was even like, did I break my ankle? Oh my goodness. So I crawled back up the stairs, literally. I was all confident, like off to go get myself like a burger or something. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, crawling up these stairs. I go back up to my apartment. I'm just like, okay, chill, elevate it, slow down. It's okay. So I propped it up. I took off my shoe, whatever, propped it up, sat there for like an hour, just like, I don't remember what I did, worked on my book, I did something. And I elevated it. I went back to try to walk on it and it hurt so fucking much. And I just stood there for a second and I was like, okay, it was my left foot. So after like a week of left things, and I tuned in. And that's when I realized the left is the feminine, the receiving, all these things I was just saying. And I just heard like, this is not going to stop me. My own resistance, my own stuff was coming up. There's things like that people talk about, the spiritual flu or the Kundalini flu, where as you're upgrading, you can get sick, you can get injured. Bad things can feel like they're happening, but it's almost like your resistance is channeling out of you. So it's actually common to get sick, feel drained of energy when you're going through an upgrade, or your body is resisting something that is happening because of either trauma or being shut down, whatever. So I just felt that that's what was going on. So I took some minutes and my ankle started feeling good enough that I had to go and eat because I was starving and I was like, I can't just not eat. So I made my way, I hobbled down. There was a restaurant very close, like within a block, that I got takeout from, pickup, whatever, took it back to my place. And I'm in my spot after, and I'm starting to like walk on it. I'm like, okay, maybe this isn't going to be so bad. Like I'm doing a lot of walking this weekend, but maybe it won't be too bad. And I started kind of like dancing around, just being light on my feet, but I was like moving energy. And I fucking stub my other toe on the bed that has this weird part that jots out that you can't see because of where the blankets, anyway, stub my toe so hard. So I'm not generally a clumsy person hurting myself. It doesn't happen a lot. I know friends that are like super always banging their elbows and big bruises, and that's not usually me. But it hurt so much. And I actually out loud was like, are you fucking serious? But kind of in a joking way. And out loud, I was like, this is not going to stop me. This is not going to stop me. No, I am getting what I came here for. I am opening my heart. I am opening to receiving more knowledge, wisdom, experience, healing. I am here for this. This is not stopping me. And I had this moment of power. So I laid off my ankle, went to bed. I could feel it in the night. Every time I'd roll over, I'm like, ow, man, it really hurt. The next morning I wake up, it hurts. I got an Uber. So as I started walking toward where the Uber was, I noticed as I walked, it actually started to feel a little bit better. And I don't usually think like walk it off when a broken foot or a sprained foot. But I started to notice it. And then as I went to the event and was walking around, I started to go like, you know what? It's okay. This is not going to hold me back. And ultimately it did not. From the weekend, I was dancing. I was a little bit lighter on it, but even now, it's not something I'm wearing a tensor bandage, but I really believe that these things kick up to challenge us. So the reason I'm saying this is things aren't problems. They are spiritual assignments. When we have, and I want you to really hear me, when we have an endless struggle with money, when we have hurt inside of us, or we have a problem, with a friend and it's like, she's always, thinking I'm doing this, or there's drama, or we, are really unsatisfied with our work, or we hate our boss, or we're just not making enough to get by. It's not a problem. It's a spiritual assignment. There is something in there for you. And this is going to be a big part of my job moving forward with all of you, is helping you to identify the spiritual assignments. And my book that I am writing and editing, it's like a guide for that. It's so powerful for you to be able to see your looping patterns, see what comes up for you, and use it as an assignment. So when I, was rolling my ankle and my ribs were out and all this stuff, and even over the weekend, like I experienced quite a bit of pain in my body, but I just kept going, what do I need? Do I need to go to the side and stretch? Need to get up and move? On the break, I'm doing like stretches for my low back. Like it's almost like instead of I'm in so much pain this weekend and look at all the things that have happened, it's like, what do I need? What is the spiritual assignment here? To learn how to hold both, to be in a powerful conference, moving around freely, and also know how to stretch when I need it and go to the side. And there's all these beautiful women doing, like, it was totally a free space where you could do that. Get up, move to the side, stretch. And I did. What do I need, right? I made sure I was fueled and I was hydrated and I was staying kind to my body and also showing up and getting what I came for. It's not going to hold me back. So I want to now segue just more into the general message of what keeps coming forward is that all of these challenges, maybe we feel stuck in our business, maybe we feel stagnant in our relationship. It's when we start to go, what is the spiritual assignment here? And that is what I do with my clients. When I have clients that come that can't find love, or every relationship has this pattern and they're just not satisfied with it, there is a spiritual assignment there waiting to be accepted. There, if you're feeling tired and uninspired or drained or like a doormat in your life with no boundaries, that's a spiritual assignment. So I want you to start to think right now about the problems that you have in your life. If a friend came up and was like, what's going on? Like, what's wrong? Or what, where do you need support? Where are the areas that you're like, oh gosh, with my spouse, or the fact that I don't have a mate, or money, business, whatever? There's always something here for you. And for any of you that do have businesses, or just take this example and extract the medicine, whenever I feel stuck, or in the past when I've felt at a plateau in my business, especially because I now refuse to create anything that doesn't feel soul aligned, there's times where I have like a couple months of like, I don't really know what I feel like putting out. And I chill until something really inspired and source goes like, this is what needs to come. So sometimes if there's no ideas, in the entrepreneurial world, the problem could be like, oh, I didn't make as much money this month, or I don't have anything that I'm offering. I should be offering something, whatever it is. It's a spiritual assignment for surrender, to go, can you chill and trust the process? And this is just my personal assignment. When I'm not inspired, the assignment is do not act unless you are inspired. Do not hustle. Do not force. It's not going to work anyways if you force and hustle. You need to wait until it comes to you. And this is just with some things. Other things, we got to act. But I'm just saying, behind every problem is a spiritual assignment. If you don't know what is next for you in life, if you're feeling at a crossroads, or you're feeling just kind of stagnant and you don't really like your job anymore, you're feeling unsatisfied, it's not a problem. It's an invitation from your soul. It's a spiritual assignment. It's an invitation to go deeper into the work, because you're meant for this work. Whether you're newly awakening or you've been on this journey for a long time, you know that self-growth, self-reflection, personal development, that's where this shit is at. You know that you're meant for that life, to be introspective and maybe spiritual, connect with higher guidance, your soul, on purpose. I know all these words resonate with you. So when we have these problems, we have to change our thinking to it's not a problem. And that's what I see in my clients, which is really neat, because sometimes it's easier to be a mentor than to be the seeker. Do you know what I mean? Like, sometimes we can help heal others and give advice easier than we can take it. So I can see with clients when they're like, oh, my income is kind of leveled out and I just don't know really what's next. I can see their soul is going like, let's start the deep inquiry of like, what is next, and where do I feel called, and how can I give myself permission to move into that next level, and all of these beautiful things. It's not a problem. It's an opportunity. When a client comes and goes like, money, like I'm so stuck, or times when like money has been the focus of stress, I look back now and it is so clear. It was an assignment in worth, feeling worthy, in giving myself value, of understanding the frequency of money and how it is a frequency, a malleable frequency. And I'm not a victim to it. And money's not hard. It was a spiritual assignment in breaking down beliefs that were stopping me from money, or opening up to my divine potential. It's not a problem. It's an invitation. It's an opportunity. If you're not finding a mate, or you're going out on dates and no one seems to be the one, or it doesn't pan out, there's a spiritual assignment in there. They may be asking, your guides, angels, source may be asking like, where are you putting your value in having a mate or not? Where are you carrying shame that you don't have one? Or where are you feeling unlovable? And it's not that you're being punished. It's a spiritual assignment. You came here to grow on a soul level. And if you've been listening to my podcast, especially the recent ones in recent months, you hear me say that a lot. Yes, you are here to manifest. Yes, you are here for the 20 or 200K months. Whatever you want, it's done, it's yours, you're already worthy of it. You can have that. But you're also being called to grow on a soul level all the time. And so these problems that come up are the ways that spirit shows you. It's also just cause and effect from our energy, but we'll leave that for another day. It's just the way spirit shows you that something needs to be adjusted. So if you're endlessly struggling with your relationship with your mom or your father or something, there's an assignment there to learn your own worthiness. Maybe the assignment is of forgiveness, but also the assignment is your own worthiness coming from you, not what anyone else thinks of you, not what anyone else has done, between you and spirit, you and your highest self. That may be the assignment of, I remember that in my journey with my mom, there kind of came a day where all my learning had compounded in my activations and my growing and my healing, that one day I was like, oh shit, you're not in charge of my worthiness. You're not in charge of if I'm doing a good job as a human. I don't have to try to come from that place anymore. I'm already valid. It was huge. So the problem was never with my mom. The problem, or it wasn't even a problem, but the spiritual assignment was gathering and healing to get my own worthiness. It was my own worthiness that was the assignment the entire time. So I want you to think about those things in your life that you would say are your top 3 or 2 or 1 or whatever problem that you have. And in your own spiritual practice, asking yourself, your higher self, your guides, whoever you want, you can ask, a family member that's transitioned, you can ask Archangel Michael, whoever resonates. You can just say to whoever's listening, to my intuition, what is the spiritual assignment behind my endless struggle with XYZ or my current struggle? Even if it's you've got gut issues or you're experiencing pain in your body or you're constantly getting sick, it doesn't just have to be a struggle with money. It can be really what's going on. Maybe you and your husband or your partner have tension and it's what is the spiritual assignment behind us feeling like we can't see eye to eye right now? And there is something that is being asked of you, and it's not that the work is only yours, because the work is also your partner's or whoever's on the other side of that. But say the journey with my mom, the journey of wishing she would change, it would never do any good for either of us. It's never going to lead in my healing or my worthiness. And it's never going to make her feel good because she can feel that all I want her to do is change. And that doesn't make anybody feel good, right? So the spiritual assignment in me gathering my own worthiness and healing into that place where I feel worthy independent of what she says or doesn't say or does or doesn't do, that's where she then has the freedom to be herself, and I can also let it be what it is. And maybe in that energy of ease, maybe it could even be an easier relationship, but either way, I'm okay. That's the spiritual assignment. I'm not trying to change her. And I did that for a long time, try to either change me and be just don't react, or change her. Why couldn't she do this? Why doesn't she do that? And that will never make her feel good or me feel good, and it will never result in healing. So these are I'm giving a lot of different examples because I just want you to see that it's always a spiritual assignment. If you deal with anxiety, or as I was talking about at the beginning, an empath introvert in a social situation, and that makes you feel anxious, what is the spiritual assignment behind that? And that's the question to start to ask your guides, to start to intuit on your own. Or if you're working with a mentor, bringing up with them, I've got this endless struggle with money. What do you think could be the spiritual assignment behind it? Or if there's a therapist that's open to that, whoever, sometimes reflection is good to get friends or people to reflect back to us. I want to say, don't ask everybody. If you go around asking everybody, what's wrong with me? Not that that's a question you should ever ask, but what is a spiritual assignment? People chime in and be you know what you need to do, right? So you want to ask sacred people that you value their opinion. mentors, friends, other, like self-discovery people to really ask for that feedback, because I promise you, especially with looping patterns, with any persistent problems, that it is a spiritual assignment waiting to be claimed, because nothing is held from us. Spirit is not holding from you the mate, or holding from you the clarity in your next step, or holding the abundance. It's about you being willing to step into, what is this asking me to claim? What is this asking me to step into or realize or heal or soften, right? That is the journey that you're truly on. That's where you will find your pot of gold, literally and figuratively, as well as the healing and the confidence and the bravery. It's stepping up. As I have been preparing in my energy to host retreats and events for freaking ever. As I've shared with you guys, there was times when I'm like, what is holding me back? Like, I know I'm ready and I feel it, but I also feel very scared and I feel resistance. And instead of me going like, what's wrong with me? You should be doing it already, Talia. I started softening and going, what's the spiritual assignment? And I've shared this with you guys on the show months ago, but I recognized that part of the resistance was the fear of being seen for who I truly am. For you showing up and being like, oh, she's in Converse and she's not very fancy and she doesn't have a hot pink blazer on. She's not very inspiring, or whatever else my ego does, right? It's scary to be seen. Who wants to stand up on stage and be seen for who they really are? Like I do, because that's my soul going like, you're meant for this stuff, my higher self, but my woundedness was not ready. So instead of looking at it as a problem, I can't seem to move into this, I started recognizing you're afraid to be seen and I love you, and do more of the healing work. And then I even go to an event like I did and I get activated of possibility to be like, oh my goodness, I want to do a live event like this, but my style, and the exercises I've seen and the topics I've seen, like, oh my goodness, this is so exciting. And now I'm actually feeling way more ready. Because for the last 6 months, I've been healing behind the scenes the fear of being seen or being rejected or whatever it is, it not working or whatever it is. I've been healing that and getting activated in my mind to see other people doing it and be a part of it and be like, oh my goodness, okay, I'm ready. So there's never been any problems. I've been talking about retreats for like 5 years. Any of you shout out to the Good Feeling Life way back in the day. Right before COVID hit, I was looking at venues. I had a friend in Hawaii checking out venues for me in Hawaii. And then we were starting to book and they were like, oh, this little thing called COVID and it might impact your travel schedule in 2 months. Who knows? And then everything started breaking down. Like, I've been planning this for a long time, but there's never been any problem. I wasn't supposed to do it 5 years ago. I wasn't supposed to do it a year ago. I was supposed to do it. I am supposed to do it when I do. Right now, in the future. This is exciting. I'm getting ready. I'm getting primed in my nervous system, in my mind, all of it. So the reason I say all that is there's just no problems. But there are spiritual assignments. There are self-growth assignments. There are invitations. In my book, I call it initiations, where we are always being initiated into our next level. So if you're feeling really anxious lately and it's really sticking out and you're really feeling like, why do I feel anxious? That's an initiation into exploration. Why do you feel not enough? Why do you feel like you need to be something different? How do you need to take care of your energy so you feel more protected when you're around people? Like, there are so many different things that something like that could be spiritually, energetically calling you towards. So today, that's just what I really wanted to talk about is, my love, you don't have any problems, but you do have invitations. You do have your soul calling you forward to explore this stuff more. And so do I. We all do. This journey of being an old soul, a seeker, a light worker, a healer. We are always on the journey of self-evolution, and there's always big growth spurts. And then there's sometimes plateaus where we feel uncomfortable or we feel small or we feel squished in our next, evolution. I actually just saw the image of when animals molt, like a caterpillar molts. So think of that, like it grows big. It doesn't actually grow new skin. It grows big. And for a brief amount of time, it literally is busting at the seams. It has outgrown its skin. And then it grows big to like rip the skin or whatever it does to like, move around and start to walk out of its old skin. But for a brief amount of time, everything is squozen. Everything is very squished and you've outgrown it. And that time of outgrowing can feel like self-sabotage. It can feel like looping patterns. It can feel like you took 2 steps back. It can feel uninspired. But I promise you, you're in a time of growth and there's a spiritual assignment. Where can you take up more space? Where are you afraid to be who you truly are? Where are you resisting deeper levels of the work or of healing? Where are you feeling like you're held back? There's a spiritual assignment in there from your soul. So as much as I help my clients to see it and it's a gift for me and blah, 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 you can do that. You can sit and bring into your meditation, if you don't already, open up with a beautiful prayer. And as I said, put your hand on your heart, take a few deep breaths and just say, to the highest truth and compassion, to spirit, to my angels, to my spirit team, whoever you want, what is the spiritual assignment behind my endless struggle with money or relationships or whatever? Sit in that space, wait for something to come forward, sit there for a few minutes, however long you want, 40 minutes, 2 minutes, it doesn't matter. Feel what feels good to you. But also when you close that practice and you kind of end it and say thank you, notice in the next 24 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours, in the next week, the things that come up. Because that's the thing, is sometimes we ask and we clearly receive on the spot. You're writing in your journal like mad, you're hearing something, you're feeling something. But very, very often, Spirit right now is saying like 80% of the message that you get back from your question unfolds in your life in the coming days. So say I go like, what's my next step for writing a book? Of course, I'm currently already writing and editing, but what's my next step? And then all of a sudden on my podcast feed the next day, a random episode comes up about how to be a self-published author or something. That would be guidance coming to my question. So definitely, I just knocked a crystal over. Definitely be aware of what comes in that moment, but also watch in your experience the things that trigger you, the reoccurring themes, people recommending a book or a podcast. Just be open to how they are showing you the spiritual assignment. You may ask the question and 2 days later you see a flyer for like a medicine bowl clearing ceremony at your yoga studio and you kind of go like, that would be neat. Allow yourself to be led, because in that ceremony you might get a vision. Someone might tell you about Reiki services they do, and then you go to the Reiki person and then they tell you something powerful about starting a healing business. Like, do you know what I mean? It unfolds. So the important part as I wrap up this episode is that you're inquiring. That you move out of this sucks, why is this happening to me, what's wrong with me, I hope you've heard me say this a million times. Please do not ask Spirit what is wrong with you. That's never how they see you. It's like speaking French when they only speak Spanish. Like, it doesn't even compute. It's even more than that, because French and Spanish are somewhat similar. It's like Cantonese and Punjabi. That to me would feel very different. They cannot understand. They're not the same symbols. That's not the same language. Don't ask what's wrong with you. Ask, what is the spiritual assignment behind this? Not where am I blocking myself? Not what's wrong with me. What is the spiritual assignment? I am open. And then notice in the coming days. That's the important part, is that you are inquiring, that you're moving out of being a victim. And I know you know that work. You've done that before, right? You've flipped things from like, I'm not a victim of this. I have control over this, or I can change anything. I'm not a victim. And that's the same thing we're asking here, is that these problems are spiritual assignments and your job is to stay open. This is when you may feel inspired to be out in nature to clear your mind, or to pull cards, or to go down to the beach with your journal and see what comes up, or have a long bath and just don't be on your phone, just clear your mind. And wisdom will come in. I want to say one more time, nothing is held from you. They are just waiting for you to ask. Not just ask for what you want, but also ask, where next do I need to go? Like, what is this? What are you asking of me? It's not just a gimme. It's also like, what's next for me? And you might be guided to deeper levels of healing, or confidence activation, or clearing your energy, or trauma work, or visualizing, or something, right? You might be pulled to heal a little bit back, or you might be pulled to move forward 70 steps. It will come as you inquire. So that is what I wanted to say today. We do not have problems. We have spiritual assignments. And I promise you, this isn't to devalidate your problems when it's a health concern or it's abuse or it's like trauma you've endured and the repercussions of that, or you're not making enough money or whatever else. I don't want to ever diminish it and be like, oh, it's just an assignment. That's not, we honor it. We go, this is freaking hard. This is a reoccurring pattern that is hard. But because I want to move through it, I wish to learn why it's here. Instead of spending all the energy and trying to force it through, I wish to learn why it's here so I can do my part in moving it through. Because there's something your soul is calling you toward within the struggle, and they're trying to get your attention. That is how they get your attention. They can't drop from the sky with a literal banner saying like, take a yoga class and this is going to lead you to this person and that person's cousins with your soulmate. Like, they can't do that. You have to take the nudges, take the steps, keep moving forward. If you're called to meditate, you get better at listening and going to meditate. If you're called to the woods, you get better at going out into the woods or taking a walk in nature. If you're called to burn your business down to the ground and start again, you get more brave at being like, fine, that's why nothing is working, because I'm secretly being called to burn it all down and start a new business, whatever it is. So that's what I wanted to say today. I hope that this is activating and resonates with you. I promise you, Seeker, you are doing such a good job. And so many of the things you've been calling in, you've been desiring the health, the clarity, the vitality, feeling love surging through your cells. It's just one spiritual assignment away. And being open is all that you can do. And that is you doing everything perfectly. Just be open to what it is showing you. Okay, I hope you have a fantastic day. I love you so much. I'll see you in the next episode. Hey, thank you for listening to this episode. It truly means a lot, and I really, really hope that it served you. I invite you to check out the show notes. There's all sorts of action down there, including the Awakening Her daily practice, which is a beautiful daily practice to process your emotions and manifest what it is that you want. In the show notes, you'll also find the Awakening Her Manifesting Apparel store, how to reach me on Instagram and Facebook, as well as some one-to-one opportunities. So make sure to check that out, and I'll see you in the next episode.